serious role. Like, I saw you on Law & Order, but you played like a store clerk, which was like obvious, because that's what you do. But, you think we'll ever see you like in a serious role that we wouldn't think of? I mean, even if you don't do it, I totally love you anyway. And the other question is, if I can get a picture with you, which hopefully we're doing right now. Yeah, so like, will we ever see you in a serious role, or do you think you can't like be a serious role? I don't know.
You just buried your face in my mood.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I felt like my wife. Okay, I can't act, so I can't be in anything all that serious.
You're Law & Order. That's like a drama, dude.
Alright, back off.
I call you for that if they didn't think you were like an actor.
Well, to be honest with you, I called them. They didn't call me, man. I started watching Law & Order. This is where everyone takes a picture of my balls. I've been a big fan of Law & Order. I started watching it on A&E. It was right after the kid was born. She was about 1 year old, and Jen was home a lot during the day. I'd go to the office in Red Bank, and Jen would sit there with the kid, and she started watching Law & Order. And this is right before Law & Order started being on every channel fucking 28 times a day. And before there were 4 different Law & Order shows, there was still just the one. So she would, I'd come home from time to time, she'd be in the middle of watching Law & Order. I was like, what's this? She's like, Law & Order, it's a good fucking show. And periodically I'd overhear it, and I'd be like, that is kind of dope. And I start watching it, and then I start coming home from work to watch it with her. And we had VCRs then, but we didn't have TiVo and shit. And it gave me a reason to leave the office, come back and watch Law & Order with her. And the kid loved it. The kid was a baby and she was starting to crawl around, but it didn't matter what she was doing, anywhere within earshot of the television. As soon as the credits began, the dun 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 dun, she'd be crawling. I have video of it. She'd be crawling, we'd play it, and as soon as it'd be like dun 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 dun, she would stop. And then she'd sit up and she would just do this. So the whole fucking time she was like doing interpretive dance to the opening theme song. It was amazing, man. It was fantastic. So it was a big thing of mine. And it was one of the only times I ever tried to use my celebrity or something like that to get something that I wanted that I wasn't entitled to. I called up my agent and I said, hey man, I love Law & Order. Can you see if I can be on it? And they're like, oh, you want to be the guy that they take to court? I said, no, that's fucking too big. I want to be the guy who introduces him to the guy, who leads him to the guy. I just want to be a cog in the wheel, man, nothing else. And he was like, oh, I'll see what I can do. And so back in the day, periodically, I would just shave off my beard and start all over again and whatnot when it got too weird or fucking split-endy or something. I just take it off when I come back in. So I didn't have any upcoming engagement where I was going to be out in public and shit. So I was like, I'll take my beard off in a week and we'll be back. All of a sudden, I got the call from the agent going, hey man, they want you to come and shoot Law & Order in New York. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, really? I just shaved my beard off though. He's like, well, go do it, they want you. I was like, oh, fine. So I went in and, you know, they give me some sides and whatnot. If you've ever seen the scene, it's very simple, straightforward. They gave me some lines to read in advance, and the whole ride up to the city, I'm rewriting the line. I'm a writer and shit, so I was like, no, that's good. It'd be better if we said this. You know? Start working on shit and had my new lines ready to go. Rewrote some of their lines as well, so you know, to make my shit dovetail nicer. So I was gonna tell Jerry Orbach, you say something about motherfucker, and then I say this, you know. So I get there, and then, you know, they put you in a like little trailer or whatnot, put your outfit on, and my outfit was pretty much what I was wearing anyway. So I get to the set, and it was Jerry Orbach, who played what was his name? Lenny Briscoe, and Ed Green, played by Jesse. Was it Jesse what? Jesse L. Martin. Thank you, Jesse L. Martin. They're in the scene. I say hi, and it's cool for me. I'm geeking out because I watch the show on the reg, and I'm like, oh my god, it's you, it's Briscoe and Green. Orbach didn't know who the fuck I am. He's just like, hello. And just Martin was cool. He was like, hey man, how are you? He was like, you ready for this? I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I can't wait. And so the director comes over. I think it was Constantine Macris, his name is. And he's like, okay, so you ready to go for one, man? Shots here. We start here. You walk through here, and we pick you up over here. I said, okay. And so let's try one, everybody. Now this unit has been together at this point probably for 10 years. Like it's down to a fucking science. They know how to shoot the fuck out of Law & Order. And it's done on a very precise schedule. So they come to me and shit, and you know, it comes. I walk through frame, and then suddenly we meet up. The two cops come to talk to me, and I get to bust my first few lines of dialogue, which do not fucking resemble the script that I was handed at all. I start going off about Star Wars and pussy and shit. So immediately I hear cut, and the director comes over with the producer, and they're like, "We don't make up shit here." And I was like, well, I mean, we all make shit up, right? The script's fake pretend, they're like, just do the lines. And I was like, all right, fine. So they make you stick to the fucking script and whatnot. So basically, like, that's my crutch. I'm not an actor. I learned that on Catch and Release. Like, Catch and Release, they gave me a script. That was a movie I was in, I didn't direct. But they gave me a script, and I looked at the lines, and I was like, I can't say this and make it sound real. Like, I have to put it into my own patois and colloquialize it. But meanwhile, I watched Jennifer Garner would take the script words verbatim, man, and she would make it sound like she was just saying it right then and there. Tim Oliphant, same thing. He would take long, and even in his weird Tim Oliphant delivery, right, that's what he does. He would still make it seem fucking like he was just coming up with it there on the spot. And that to me is what an actor does. They take scripted dialogue, make it seem like they're just saying it off the top of their head. So I could never do that. And I always had to colloquialize and put in words and shit like that, change shit around. I told the story, but we were on Catch and Release doing a fishing sequence. And we weren't even fishing, we were in a back lot. And a friend of ours in the movie has died. And me and his other friend, his two surviving friends, are having this discussion. And we're fly fishing, casting our fly rods in the back alley behind our house, practicing and shit. And it's a very simple scene, man. Like, basically, he's upset because I'm drinking too much, because obviously I'm upset that our friend died. So he's gonna say something about it, shit. And I can't do dialogue, so I start colloquializing and whatnot. So he takes my beer at one point. The scripted dialogue was just like, you know, he takes Sam's beer and puts it down. He's like, I think we've had too much. And then I didn't have any other line. I think I said the best defense is a good offense. That was the line in the script. And I was like, that makes sense. That somebody takes my beer and I just fucking bust them with the best defense and good offense. Like, if I was Brad Pitt, I'd figure out a way to say it. But I was Kevin Smith and I didn't know how to say it. And I was just like, I should add some shit to it. That'll make it easier, you know, get into that thought if I put on 2 pages of dialogue. So we're sitting there and he takes my beer and shit, and I say, to get me to that line, that that's offense and good defense, I say, oh, what, that's your move, Dennis? You're just gonna take my beer, great, I guess the best offense, good defense. So it's just that little bit of what Bruce Willis would call chuffa up front that allowed me to get to the idea that was in the script. So I said it, that was the end of the tape, and Susanna Grant, who's the director, she was like, cut, and that was it. I'm sitting in the alley this way standing, to my left is the back porch of the house. And in the scene, when it's edited, after my beer is taken away, we'll hear the screen door close and look up and we'll see Tim Olifantastic standing there throwing a line out to us to engage in the scene. He holds up these skates. He's like, do these still work? And we say, yeah, or something like that. So he's there to throw the line if needs be, even though the coverage is on us. So I finish up, I'm like, oh, best defense, good offense. You know, after I'm like, you're just gonna take my pull. That's your big move, Dennis, you're just gonna take my pull. Best defense, good offense. Cut. All of a sudden I hear this, man, a fucking golf clap. And it's fucking fantastic. Who even claps with attitude, you know? And he goes, oh my God. He's going, boy, I'm glad I was here today, man, because I never understood the art of performance. I didn't know what acting was, but now I know what acting is. He goes, acting is the very subtle art of saying out loud exactly what just happened in the scene. So he takes your pull and you say, hey, you just took my pull. So I'm sitting there and the whole fucking crew turns to me like, you're gonna take that shit? And I didn't know what to say, it just came out of nowhere. So I was like, Tim, man, you know who I love in Deadwood? Ian McShane. So, I don't know, I don't see myself being a serious actor because I imagine anytime I try to emote and shit, like to be or not to be, Tim Oliphant pops up and he's just like... But I don't think I've got actor chops at all. I mean, you know what I'm pretty decent at?